Hi, this is Mike, here with another video. Um, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the possibility of what's getting ready to happen. I am very, very convinced that the tribulation's about to start, and as someone who believes in the pre-tribulation rapture, I'm even more certain than ever that the rapture is about to happen very, very soon. There's a lot of buzz going on YouTube about uh, the rapture and people having dreams and visions and confirmations, and a lot of it revolved around that one guy, Joshua. And I found his testimony really convincing, but you know, what I found even more convincing than that, there is a brother on here who's also named Michael, and he goes by Medic for Christ. He has done some calculations, um, and it seems that he's found that if you go from Rosh Hashanah this year to Yom Kippur in the year 2032, you get the exact number of days that is referred to in Daniel 12:11. Um, and it talks about it, several places, um, but that just can't be a coincidence to me. I you know if you look at his videos, you'll see it, and he explains it very, very well, and that convinces me so much more than anybody's dreams or anything. It just can't be a coincidence. There's no way. And especially because we know that around Rosh Hashanah this year, the UN is going to be meeting and talking about creating a Palestinian state. There's also this thing. It's supposedly a comet, and it's called Three Eye Atlas. There's so much buzz going on about this thing, and it's probably just a comet, but there's people out there saying it's a spaceship, and there's all kinds of stuff going on. Um, let me make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself here. God, I had to make notes for this. um, think about it, okay? When the rapture does happen, how's the world going to react? How are they going to try to explain it away? Because they will. They'll try to explain it away. It'll be anything but the rapture. Okay? So for a long time now, I've been thinking that, what's called the strong delusion in the book of Thessalonians. Let me check my notes here. It's the Second Thessalonians, and it's verses 10, like 10 to 13 or so. Yeah, 10. Yeah. I'll read it here in a second. This is my dad's Bible, by the way. It's very old and kind of fragile. Um, he died a long time ago. He died in 1998. So I'm so grateful to have this. Okay. So this comet, or whatever it is also supposed to be arriving soon, like coming past the Earth. Like I think they said right around the same time as Rosh Hashanah, and it didn't have a tail until recently. It finally developed a tail. So the thing, it could come and go, and okay, say the rapture happens, they'll say, well, the comet when it went by was a spaceship, and it like beamed everybody aboard and took them away. Okay, So now, why that is significant is because, like, if you know of the New Age movement, you know, it's basically, you know, divination and things like that. It's all very anti-Christian. Okay, it's all very anti-Christ. Um, they for a long time have been teaching that there's gonna come a time when um, higher intelligent beings from another world are gonna be sick and tired of humanity fighting each other, and they're going to intervene, and they're going to snatch away um, all the people who are closed-minded and bigoted, and these closed-minded people are the ones who are holding humanity back from evolving to a higher state of consciousness. Okay, now these are their words, not mine. Okay, but it sounds an awful lot like the Rapture. And I used to have a couple of links for it, but I'll put the one that I still know that I do have. It's still there. I checked it even today. I checked it to make sure it was still there because it's kind of an older link, but it's there. So I'll put it in the description box. Okay. But let's read what the strong delusion, or the great delusion, however you'd like to put it. Let's read that real quick. Okay. All right. Because it's gonna be like the Antichrist reveals himself to the public, like, and people who understand will know, hey, this is the Antichrist. Okay. But most people are not going to know that. They're just going to think he's some wonderful person who's come to save humanity. Alright? So, the strong delusion. Let's read, 10 to 12 here. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness to them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, and had pleasure in unrighteousness. And I'm sorry for the halting way I read that, because my eyes are just really bad. Sorry. Even with the glasses, my eyes are just really bad. So I apologize for my terrible reading of that. Okay. So another point that would go in favor of all this being tied together, like saying space aliens kidnapped everybody or something. Oh, and by the way, supposedly, they say when the aliens abduct everybody, they're going to take us to another planet somewhere, and they're going to re-educate us. They're going to give us time to catch up to the rest of humanity, and then they'll bring us back. So that's that's what they're going to tell. These New Age people are going to try to tell people that's what's going on. So, oh, don't worry, your relatives are okay. Your friends, they're just being re-educated so they can catch up to the rest of us, and then we'll all be reunited and live in utopia or whatever. So the lies are set up already. They're going to do this after we're gone in the rapture. Okay. So it's here, people. Like, I really think this is it. Now, I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, we are absolutely out of here. No, you're not gonna hear me say that. No. And I'm not trying to be critical of anybody else. Everybody's got their own views on this thing. Um, but you gotta remember, like, Jesus said, Jesus' own words, and it's in Mark chapter 13, verse 29, that it would be like, you know, a fig tree blooming in the summer. And you'll know it when it's even at the doors. Let me get that verse real quick. Um, yeah, real quick. Yeah, sure. I'm slow. Sorry. All right. 13:29. I even had the pages marked, but I'm still low. I'm still slow. I'm sorry. The lighting's not great in here either. And I sure hope this thing tapes right, because I've been having real trouble getting videos to tape. Alright. Yeah. So ye, in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors. Okay? So, Jesus told us that we're gonna know when it's like right at the doors. It's like, okay, like, think of it this way, okay? You're sitting in your chair, or your couch or whatever, and you're looking out the window, and you see somebody coming up to your front door. It's gonna be like that. You're watching the person coming to the door is like the rapture, and they're coming to the door. It's like, you're gonna know. It's like they're right there. You know that it's gonna knock. The knock is the rapture. Take it in that sense, and it starts to really make sense. So we're not. In the same passage, he says, that it will come like a thief in the night to people who aren't watching. If you're watching, it's not gonna come like a thief in the night. You're not gonna be exactly sure when it's gonna happen, because like I said, with a person coming up to your front door and they're going to knock, but they might stop and tie their shoe, so the knock doesn't come exactly when you think it was going to come. That kind of thing. Just think about it. It really makes sense. We're not going to be taken by surprise. I mean, some of us might, yeah. But I've been waiting for this my whole life. I really hope it's going to happen. But like I said, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, absolutely, it's happening, and if you don't believe, you're a heretic or something. No, I'm not going to do none of that. And nobody's going to come on here and say, oh yeah, you said it. And no, I did not. So, with that out of the way, I'd like to touch on something real quick. This murder of Charlie Kirk that happened. Charlie was a good guy. The celebrating that's going on over his death is so sick. I knew people were sick and demented, but until you actually see it in living color, all these videos, people are depraved. It's awful. I just don't understand it. And, I'm glad I don't understand it. Because if you understood it, you'd probably be just exactly like these people. So, what it reminds me of is in the book of Revelation, chapter 11. Yeah, chapter 11. The two witnesses who are going to... If the rapture happens and the tribulation starts, the two witnesses are right at the doors as well. They're going to be here very soon, if all this happens. Okay? And that's the thing, if. That's all I'm saying is what if. The way the two witnesses, when they're killed, it's the book of Revelation says that the whole world is going to rejoice and give each other gifts. They're going to be so happy these people died. We're seeing a tiny, well, not so tiny, But we're seeing like a preview of that with what just happened to Charlie Kirk. You know, and then there's that poor Ukrainian girl, Irina Zarutska, that got killed. Our cultures have degraded so much that people don't care or they celebrate these deaths. But we're so sick. Jesus has to come back soon. He's got to, because, you know, otherwise humanity is gonna kill itself out, and like we're gonna just, like, you know, we're gonna implode. And then that's another thing that was in the Bible. Jesus said, if he didn't come back, you know, would he find faith left on earth? You know, it's like he's got to come back. The rapture's got to happen. The rapture is the only thing I think that's going to wake a lot of people up. You know, like, what are you going to do when your friends and your family, people you love, are gone? You know, you're going to be running to their houses and like, what happened? You know, and people are going to remember, hey, they used to talk about this. You know, and that's what it was. And then hopefully they won't believe the lies that are going to happen, because the lies are going to be so persuasive, you know, that most people are going to believe it. And that's why it's called strong delusion. You know, and we're seeing it in people already. The way people act now, we're already seeing that, because they run around believing the most awful, horrible things about each other and about God, about Jesus. Like, it's just awful. Jesus has got to come back. And like, we're right there. We're right at the doors. Just exactly like the Bible said. The Bible is real. God is real. Jesus is real. The Holy Spirit is real. If you don't know them, please, I'm begging you. Like, I beg God every night for the people I know who don't believe in him. I beg him for those people. Please get to know God. Cry out to him. Ask him to reveal himself to you, and he will. Get saved. Because time's almost up. You know, if you don't know how to be saved, I've got a whole video on it. It's the very first video on my channel, and it's called Sharing the Gospel. Please watch that. If you don't know God, if you don't understand any of this, watch that video, and it'll explain things better. You believe that Jesus died on the cross and was resurrected from his grave. That allowed everyone who believes in him to also defeat sin and death. You put your trust and faith in him. You tell him, confess it with your mouth, like the Bible actually says, confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, and you'll be saved. Like I said, if you really, really need to understand it better, please watch the first video I made, because it goes into whole detail. Jesus himself made getting saved very simple. It was like, believe in me. You know, think of the thief on the cross. The thieves, the one mocked him, and the other one believed in him and was saved. Jesus told him, you're going to be in paradise with me today because of what you just said. And all the guy said was, you know, Jesus, you didn't deserve this. You know, I deserved it for what I did. And he's like, please remember me. You know, and Jesus is like, you got it. You're coming with me. That guy didn't have to get baptized. He didn't have to, you know, say a certain prayer. He didn't have to do all these things that people seem to think salvation requires. He repented, yeah, because, you know, he knew he needed to be saved. You know, but that's not a work that saves you. Repenting is just saying, you know, it's a change of mind. This isn't working. I'm not living right. I need God to save me. Okay? So that just leads you to getting saved. Jesus does all the work of you being saved. You just have to ask. That's it. Believe in Him. Please do that. Because we are almost out of time. I just have to say, I want to send love out to everybody, because there's not a lot of love in the world right now. So, I'd like to thank you if you watched this. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we're out of here soon. God bless.